Most guitar tones are boring. Okay, now that I've hopefully gotten your attention, the truth is that a lot of guitar tones are not as exciting as they could be. A lot of discussion around tone begins and ends with pedals, amps, and guitars. But when it comes time to record guitar, whether you're planning to go to the studio or just play guitar for yourself at home, there is a neglected element that can completely elevate your tone: texture. Hello Internet, my name is Tesler-Mabé, and my hope with today's video is to give you all sorts of ideas to think outside of the box and craft completely unique guitar sounds. Whether you like the tones I show you or not, this video will show you a few awesome ways to add texture to the guitar tones you craft and turn your guitar parts into ear candy. Check this out. This guitar tone from Napalm's solo record is so tasty. For those who don't know, she is the frontwoman of Hiatus Kaiyote. In 2017, she put out a beautiful, stripped-down, earthy solo album called Needlepaw. What makes this guitar sound so gorgeous is that she's playing an electric guitar, but also using a mic to pick up the sound of her fingers picking the strings. This adds so much texture and intimacy to a guitar sound when blended with the regular electric guitar signal you're already recording. Now check this out. This is one of my favorite guitar tones ever. It is truly one of a kind. Imagine you're recording a rock song. Obviously, someone's first instinct would be to dial in a sick, overdriven electric guitar sound, crank an amp, and call it a day. But what the Stones did back when they recorded this song was so creative. It was Keith Richards on an acoustic guitar, plugged into a Philips mono cassette recorder with no limiters. So now you have the texture of an acoustic guitar with a totally unhinged and snarling distortion on it. The Stones then played that cassette back through a speaker, which they recorded with a mic onto a multi-track tape machine. By playing the guitar tone through a speaker and miking it in the room, you're bringing the vibe of the room itself into the guitar sound. These are the subtle but necessary differences that elevate an ordinary guitar sound into something truly iconic. And now to show you how I have incorporated some of these ideas into my own studio work, check out this guitar tone from my song Endless Summer. Whenever I'm in the studio recording my solo stuff with the amazing David Zier as my studio engineer, we do some crazy stuff to get some crazy guitar tones. I don't recall exactly what amps we used because our sessions are always so jam-packed, but we almost always use some combination of a 1968 Fender Super Reverb, a 1964 Vox AC30, and a 1950s military projector amp blended together. Echo Plant Recording Studios, where we work together, has a pretty crazy collection of vintage amps, so we always maximize the opportunity to use as many cool amps as we possibly and tastefully can. By blending these amp tones, we created a sound that is pretty unique and contains subtle shades of each of these amps' colors. So not only did I record into each of these amps simultaneously and mic them in the live room, we also recorded a DI signal at the same time that we could keep clean and blend into the tone as well. Another fun feature of Echo Plant Studios we love to take advantage of is the echo chamber. We always leave the door that separates the live room and the echo chamber open so that we can put a mic in the echo chamber and blend the sound of the amps bouncing off the walls if we want to. And in this case, we definitely did. I usually record with the amps in the live room while I sit and play in the control booth. I also remember us taking a page out of Napalm's book when recording this song because we mic'd my electric guitar strings to add that depth and texture to the tone as well. Long story short, this is one of my favorite guitar sounds we've ever cooked up together. Now that I've told you some ways to add texture to your guitar sound, to really ensure you walk away from this video with some fun ideas to try, I want to show you. I'm going to use the Enya Inspire guitar for two reasons. Firstly, they were generous enough to send me this lovely guitar and sponsor this video. And secondly, this guitar is genuinely an amazing and extremely fun tool to use in the studio. I only had to play the guitar part one single time, and the neat functions of this guitar allowed me to create multiple interesting layers that I blended together. So here's the guitar tone that I created. To reiterate what I said at the beginning of the video, regardless of whether you like the tone I created or not, this should hopefully give you lots of ideas to try yourself. Or if you do like the tone I created, now you'll know exactly how I did it. My first step was to craft the initial tone coming through my guitar. I had my guitar on the neck pickup to start with something warmer and rounder. Enya has a cool app that you can pair with the guitar so that you don't even need to worry about amps or effect pedals if you don't want to. It's all built in. I use their higher gain amp with vibrato and reverb. Though the main feature of interest on this guitar is its built-in 15-watt speaker, when you plug the guitar in at either the 1/4" or 8" jack, the speaker turns off to prevent feedback. All I did was plug the guitar into my interface, and this is what the tone sounded like with no further effects added. This was all just coming from the guitar. Before hitting record, I placed a mic in front of my picking hand to capture a more percussive element in the guitar tone. The next thing I did was bounce these two tracks down to an MP3 file that I could send to my phone. This guitar has a neat feature where you can essentially use it as a Bluetooth speaker. Of course, the more conventional use of this feature would be to play your guitar and have both your guitar playing and a backing track come through the speaker for ultimate convenience. But since I already recorded my guitar part and now was just layering tone, I rolled the volume of the guitar off so I could just use it as a speaker. I chose a dynamic mic because the speaker was loud enough for the diaphragm of the mic to respond well, and I wanted this layer to focus on the tone coming from the speaker without adding any extra room tone. I always say that if you want to reject the sound of the room, use a dynamic mic, and if you want to include the sound of the room, use a condenser mic. But to add a bit of a woozy and strange feel, I didn't simply hold my guitar's speaker in one position in front of the mic. I moved it back and forth within and outside of the microphone's pickup field to emphasize the dynamics and accents of the riff. For the final layer, I once again played the MP3 file of the riff through the guitar via the Bluetooth function. But this time I ran my guitar into an effect pedal and then into an amp. The amp I was using was my 1973 Fender Twin Reverb, plugged into the vibrato channel with the reverb turned up to 5 to get that luscious Fender Spring reverb. As for the guitar pedal, I was using the Maneco Labs 16-second digital delay, which is a gorgeous hand-built pedal from Uruguay that is modeled after the original 1983 EHX version of this effect. I played around with the feedback and sweep speed and depth to add something weird and trippy. I placed my AT2035 in the middle of the room, a couple meters away from my amp, so that this final texture sounded like it was coming from further away. Oh yeah, I had such a fun time messing around with the Enya Inspire to figure out a concept for this video. So thank you so much again to Enya for supporting my channel and for creating a very cool and unique instrument that helped me find something cool to talk about for this video, something I'm very passionate about. I hope this gave you some inspiration for fun things you can try yourself the next time you're crafting a guitar sound. The link's down below if you want to find out more about this awesome guitar, because I do genuinely think it is very cool. And if you dig this guitar and you're thinking of getting one of your own, using the link down below does support the channel. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. Either way, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. And as always, if you like this video, please refrain from subscribing. I'm trying to become the least subscribed person on YouTube. Thank you. Bye.